Okay, so I've just started making these builds this morning, and I had an idea to bring back a couple of builds that I made before and give it a Ninja Bike revamp. You know what I'm saying? A Ninja Bike remix. And bro, I just killed a rogue agent. Actually, I just killed two rogue agents faster than I've ever seen any rogue agents kill before. And I didn't even I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. You know, just check this clip out real quick because you wouldn't believe me either unless you've seen it. So just look at how fast these two rogue agents get killed.
Hostile defender drone detected. Rogue blinder firefly detected.
Break free!
Hostile blinder firefly detected.
This is it!
Rogue bombardier drone detected.
Put this out! No way to
Hostile bombardier drone detected.
blast them away!
Rogue agent eliminated.
And I was about to start shooting them. I'm like, hold on. I gotta record this and I have to see and show people how fast they're getting burnt down. Now the build this is based on is one I made a long time ago called Thermite. Let me show you this intro real quick because this is when I used to be in total hype mode, you know, making trailers and stuff for my builds. I just gotta show you this for nostalgic purposes.
A mixture of finely powdered aluminum and iron oxide that produces an extremely high temperature on combustion, often used with a chem launcher fire starter and fire sticky bomb. Thermite is also a former Rainbow Six Siege agent excommunicated for reasons unknown, now operating under a shade alias within the Division 2, one amongst many thousands of agents spread across New York and Washington, participating in missions consisting of executing targets with extreme prejudice. Why am I telling you this? Well, it's because at the advent of him becoming an official shade agent, he and I became friends, and Thermite gave me the tools I need to create this mixture in order to make this build. So many agents are making Eclipse Protocol builds along with the Val mask, but one aspect is missing. One that will allow this build to reach its full potential, enabling it to be the most effective. I will share this secret with you.
Okay, now that was Thermite. Before we start this video, or before I explain this build to you, we're gonna go over here to District Union Arena because I was about to do a heroic mission. I'm like, it's no need, this build is too strong. Now some people complain to me about the fact that when I make my builds, or lately when I have been making my builds, they're like, none of your pieces are min-maxed. You come out with these random pieces of gear, you come out with these random builds. First of all, the builds aren't random, alright? The reason why I record right away is because the build is so strong. Just imagine how it would be if it's min-maxed.
Detected. Nearby location guarded by hostiles.
Now this build is almost min-maxed because it's based on some of the pieces that I've had already. There's only a few rolls that I need to make this build official.
Don't let anything stand in your way.
But I'm gonna introduce you to Thermite Volume 2. Now I don't know how much of this legendary I'm gonna do. I just want to show you how powerful it is, because there's a skill that honestly nobody uses. Nobody uses this skill right here that you see on my UI, right? This is the Airburst Secret Mine. It was actually the meta skill that was used in Div 1 in the Dark Zone. People were going crazy. It's different now, but you gotta know how to use it. Once you figure it out, pretty devastating. Feel me? How did I miss him? But I'm gonna show you how crazy this is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, the only issue with this is dealing with these tanks, obviously. But, you know, we got something for them. Got something for y'all, you know what I'm saying? Technician specialization. You know how we got the EMP grenades, disabled them temporarily. So obviously, you know. Oh man, it didn't reset. I knew he was gonna start running back. Go ahead. Go ahead over there. Yeah. Trick, you fell for the trap. And just like that, you're almost dead, bro. Look at his health. You sure you want to do this? You sure you want to do this? You know, when you're using ARs, that health damage is essential for these enemies because they have no armor, they only have health. And they deal a ton of damage, so look at these guys coming over here. Literally bots. Some players do this. These are bots for you. Obviously you can see what kind of build this is, right? It's a status effect build. I have some crazy status effects going on here. And with status effects, you can comfortably coast through these missions because you're dealing so much of that. That once it's activated on the enemy, you gotta sit back and just wait for the results. You know what I'm saying? It's like a comfortable playthrough. Moved at the last second, and this guy has nobody to heal him. I don't know, man. Oh snap! I don't have no ammo. Okay, so that's fine because if you haven't heard of the Everlasting Gaze, it's the rifle that increases the name rifle actually that increases your status effect damage and duration by 50%, right? When you land a headshot. So that's increasing this carnage even more, right? See, there it is. It's activated now. No cooldown on it. Once you activate, you know, it's no like, okay, for a certain amount of seconds. When you hit him in the head, that's when it's activated. The cooldown is 16 seconds. So it adds a 50% bonus damage and duration to the next status effect you apply, right? So it just waits for you to activate it. Waiting on them other. Get out of dodge. Oops. Not the brightest of the bunch, are you? Come on. And in the meantime, sitting here getting all of this. In the meantime, I'm sitting here getting all of this ammo with my capacitor, right? Got one of them. One thing about the Airburst Seeker mine, boy oh boy, the duration of the burn is the longest you'll ever see. There's no other burns duration that's longer than the Airburst Seeker mine. The good thing about the Airburst is sometimes they jump out of it, but the great thing about the Airburst Seeker mine is that, hold on, that this is a cover-based shooter, right? So you're always going to have enemies going into cover. And once they go into cover, that's your opportunity to go ahead and launch it over their heads. And by that time, it's too late because the radius is too big. Oh, for real. Get it early. Alright. I'm also using the technician specialization specific pistol, where it gives you perfect spark. No, it gives you perfect spike. Now, perfect spike gives you 20% skill damage for 20 seconds or something like that when you hit him in the head, right? See? So you can alternate between the two. I think the only issue with this is that you're dealing with chungas and, you know, things that aren't really flesh and blood. Got a lot of armor. So, you know, it's still going to, you see how he's on fire? That's really like taxing on his health, believe it or not. There we go. You know, I was saying that I had a problem with the Ninja Bike bag for a little while. The reason is because I couldn't really revamp any of my builds when I was when I was trying to go back and like, okay, if I add the Ninja Bike to this build is gonna be crazy, this and that, you know. That's what I was thinking. And none of them was working. But that was because there's a certain way you have to do it in order to really make it work. You know what I'm saying? As I said before, Ninja Bike requires specialized builds. You can't just slap it on the builds that you already had, because before the Ninja Bike bag came out, at least my mentality was that I didn't really, you know, my mentality was that the build was mainly based on either the chest piece or the backpack talents. That was the main goal. So it was surrounded based on that. And when you take away the backpack talent, it kind of like destroys the entire build in a way. So you got to go back in the lab and figure out what you need to do to get it back to where it was. Where you going? Where you going, little one? Yeah. That fire is wearing them down, believe it or not, man. See, honestly, this is one of the reasons why I made that one build, the incomparable hybrid, right? With the ravenous. This is one of the reasons why I did that. You pull out the ravenous, and you could easily chunk these enemies. But the other build that I had with the ravenous, it had weapon damage all over the build, right? The reason why is because the ravenous explosion scales off weapon damage, and I would be able to really just destroy these guys if I had more weapon damage. But for the purposes of just getting their armor taken down, I'm using this ravenous. This is one of the alternatives you could use to do that, you know. And then, you know, use this in the meantime. have the ravenous. That's cool. No. But the reason why the ravenous is so effective is because, you know, the description states that, you know, when you're on the left shoulder,
Serious trauma
let
detected.
me not die. When you're on the left shoulder, you're stacking those armor values, right? The armor, see that bonus armor I got? That also deals a lot of damage to their armor plates, their physical armor plates. I'm talking about armor plates that you see on them, not their armor, but you actually see on them, the ones that you see breaking off. When you switch shoulders from, you know, that bonus armor side, not only you get bonus armor, but you get multiplicative damage to those armor plates, health values. And then you get the explosion with the other shoulder switch. And I'm tripping there. I forgot they had these beehives. All good though. Let's back up. So this is one of the ways that I take out chungas if I don't have another way, like in this case. See, they can't really stand in front of you because they're always getting staggered by this. This gun is actually amazing. It's trying to run away. Night. So you only switch to the ravenous when you have things like that to deal with, you know what I'm saying? So you can get through that. But every other enemy is pretty much free range to do what you please with this status effects. And this is one of my favorite types of builds alongside another build that I made. Remember, I said I made two builds. One of them was an explosive build and the other one was this one. The reason why I'm starting with this one is because of, like I said, you saw that rogue agent footage earlier, man. I mean, you can't deny that at all. Alright, so let's go in here. This is a perfect opportunity to use this right here because these cats bundle up right here. Boom. Let's go.
I'm burning.
Yes, you're burning. How did you put that down, dude? Come on now. Don't start healing yet. That's what I hate.
Don't worry, it's not my fault.
All good. We're gonna get him out of there.
Help me put this out.
Ain't fight it that much, can you? It's just these two guys, man. Golly. Only the healers are left.
I'll support you.
Yeah, you coming. Okay.
Back on your feet, soldier.
No, sir.
I'll put him down.
Now we can get some of these healers out of here. I need some med kits. Let me just use my last one. Matter of fact, I got some armor regen on here too, so I think it's all good for now. Yeah, bro, there's no hiding from this. It hurts. Oh, here they come. Let's get a nice little start going. Boom. And we backing up. Yeah.
I got him.
I'm backing up. Ravenous is the key for these enemies. Even when you don't have any weapon damage, still, this right here, the explosion itself is what just penetrates the armor, and that's why it's just so special. You don't even need really I mean, you need the weapon damage to deal a stronger explosion, but to be able to take these plates out is invaluable. Look how it's just picking it apart like that. Wow. This bug right here. There you have it, folks. Let me, you know what, usually I stop here and show you the build. But let me just go a little bit further. Okay, let me go a little bit further. Show you what else this thing could do, man. Are they already here?
Agent vital signs 0.
Defeat.
Yeah, that just shows you how powerful that is because of how fast I died, right? Anyways,
You've got your objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
guess that's a sign for me to go ahead and show you guys the build, right? The game didn't want me to go on it like, no, you got to show this right now. Anyway, here it is. Okay. Now, before the Thermite build that I made, and the reason why this is so powerful because the Ninja Bike allows you to have one extra piece for your build for whatever gear you have on. If you notice here, I have the Eclipse Protocol one piece, which gives me the 2-piece status effect bonus. Now, before I would have to have 2 of these and 2 of the ongoing directives in order to have the 15% status effects that this offers. That opens up 2 entire new slots for me to do with as I will, right? So this has status effects rolled to it. It's an armor core. This is great because this comes rolled as a weapon core, and you can get lucky by having something like status effects, whatever you want, like to make your build the way you would like it to be. So if you wanted headshot damage, you'd have to get an ongoing directive piece with headshot damage already rolled. I just got this when I was doing the manhunt. Eclipse Protocol mask with status effects rolled to it, and a skill haste mod. That's what I have in here for my mods. Skill haste on each one because you want to activate these as much as possible. On the Thermite build that I had before, it was a 3 skill tier. And that was because I wanted to prove that, okay, you don't need 6 skill tiers in order for this build to hit hard. The thing about status effects is that it's strong regardless to whether or not you have 3 skill tiers or 6 skill tiers. It's because it's a separate element from skill damage. It's something completely of its own. So that's why you see people getting melted so fast when they get hit with the sticky bomb, right? Because it just burns through their armor, man. It's so strong. Status effects is slept on. Matter of fact, I don't even want to say it's slept on because a lot of people use it for bleed or whatever else. It's kind of broken. But anyways, I had a 3-tier skill build and that was enough for me. But when I was doing the manhunt, I'm like, yo, these cooldowns are way too long. It was like 35 seconds for my sticky bomb. I'm like, nah, we can't do that, right? Because I was relying on weapon damage and stuff on other builds. But this is different. We got the Ninja Bike. We can, we could max this thing out. So this is why I have it this way, right? As I said before, I have the Everlasting Gaze for the primary, and I'm using the capacitor as my secondary because I'm not really using this weapon that much, simply because there's not much crit on it. I mean, I can use it to increase my skill damage, but this is what we want right here. The Everlasting Gaze is a named rifle that gives you perfect perpetuation. Headshots grant 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. And as I said before, as soon as you hit him in the head, you don't have to worry. You can just sit there, take your time. There's no timer for you to activate this. But when you activate your next status effect, that's when the cooldown applies, which is 16 seconds. Which happens to be less than the cooldowns of my actual skills, or almost the same amount. I'll get to those in a minute. But chest piece I have, and this is one of the pieces that, well, I guess it isn't been maxed. One thing I forgot to mention about the Everlasting Gaze, You notice I have the Technician Laser Link, and this ties into the chest piece that I'm using. Technician Laser Link is what gives you pulse without having to use it. I might bring back the Disruptor build from a long time ago where I was able to use 3 skills at once. That was like an epic time when Technician first came out. But anyways, that ties into exactly the reason I'm using the chest piece. It's a Golan gear, which gives me status effects for the first piece. Now, I was actually surprised at how much armor regen I was getting. If you look at the gameplay, check this out. I didn't use that armor kit because I'm like, yo, I got a little bit of armor regen on here. I'm gonna just use that. And that's the beauty of Ninja Bike. Because Ninja Bike gives you that extra piece. Sometimes it gives you a gem that you don't even know that you have, right? I didn't even realize I had armor regen until I started seeing my armor go up. Now, this isn't 1 armor regen. This is 1% armor regen, which is significantly higher than any like stat, any regular stat. When you have a percentage of something, it applies to that whole build. So I have 1.2 million armor, so that's 1% of 1.2 million armor regen that I'm getting on this build, which is why you could actually see it working in effect in real time. Now, the attributes on here are skill damage and status effects. Of course, you want to increase your skill damage and status effects as much as you can on this build. I mean, the priority is status effects. You can go without skill damage actually when you're stacking status effects, but that's what I have here on most of the pieces. And I think this is what people was talking about when they said, oh, your builds aren't min-max. I got like 6 or 7 Picaros holsters. Okay, now this is great because it has skill haste. Second piece is that extra skill tier, which is pretty much meta for so many builds, right? This comes as an armor core, Picaro's holster, so it's hard to get certain attributes that you want. I don't have one that has status effects on it yet. So for now, this is what we're rocking with as a protection, which I don't mind. But ideally, I'm going to want status effects on here. So I'm on the hunt for another Picaro's holster with that attribute. And the weapon damage always helps. Finally, aside from the Ninja Bike, which we already know what this does, it gives me, this is what allowing this build to be actually possible. But you already know we need the firm handshakes. These are the name gloves that came out ages ago, man. None of these attributes I actually need for this build, but it's cool because the main reason I have it is for the 15% status effects. Now with this piece, along with Eclipse Protocol Biohazard Mask and the ongoing directive knee pads, I have 45% status effects on this alone, just for having these pieces, right? Not to mention the status effects I have rolled on pieces of gear to add on to that, right? I haven't even added how much this is, okay? But ideally, you're gonna want status effects rolled here as well. Wait, actually, you can't do that. You can't double roll. That's what I found out before. But you can put skill damage here. So let me tell you about the skills, right? Now, because this is status effects, you don't discriminate, right? But this is a theme build called Thermite, right? So you gotta deal with the fire skills here. You could put a bleed hive on if you want. It's going to deal insane damage as well. Anything that deals status effects is going to melt. But for this build, I'm using anything that burns. And the burn sticky bomb is the first skill that I'm using. 20-second cooldown, 12-second burn duration. And I don't even have this expertise at all. Okay, so I told you before that I'm really surgical with the sticky bomb in PvP and PvE. It's just a crazy skill and I love using it. You could also use, which is also great, the Chem Launcher Fire Starter. I mean, this thing is crazy, right? It has a large radius, it has 8 ammo count. Thing is with that, pretty, I'm not gonna say easy to dodge. It's pretty easy to dodge. You can telegraph it. If people know that you have it in PvP especially, they can telegraph your shots and get out of there. But it's really strong. I might actually start using that along with Fire Sticky Bomb to replace my second skill, which is the Airburst Secret Mine. Now this is a skill I was talking about that nobody uses, but is in top 3 honestly. The burn duration. Look at that, man. 30 seconds. Come on, man. What kind of wizardry is this, man? 30-second burn duration? Yeah, and if you have some mods, you can increase the radius. I don't have this expertise at all. I mean, maybe I should start expertise in my stuff. Then my builds will really be broken. Like, it's pretty crazy. And the good thing about this in PvP is that since it's underused, nobody will expect you to be using it. I used this in a build a long time ago called Battle Angel. I love that build, man. It was like a DPS status effects hybrid. It was crazy. But I'll link that in the description below. And there's really no point in showing you the stats because they don't show you how much status effects there actually is. I forgot to tell you about the talent that I'm using. I'm using Spotter. I got away from myself because I was getting excited. This is what is helping me deal that 15% damage to pulsed enemies when I'm using the Everlasting Gaze. Because I can pulse enemies and activate Spotter. Simple as that. It's just more damage that applies to whatever you have on the build, even though you're not really using your weapon as much. And finally, I have the Maxim 9. This is the Technician Specialization Specific Pistol, which actually looks the coolest out of all of them in my opinion. And this gives you perfect spike. You could actually use this, right? 25% skill damage when you headshot an enemy. Spike had got overshadowed by the card custom when it came out because it had that one extra skill tier and the talent perfectly in sync. Why would you use Spike when you can use in sync, right? It gives you weapon and skill damage. But hey, I'm using this because, you know, I like it. It's different. And it just gives you a flat 25% skill damage. So, let me know what you think about this build down below in the comments. This was like spur of the moment. I wanted to bring this back, but I didn't realize how effective it was going to be. It's really crazy. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Once again, let me know what you think of this down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Be right out.